Hello everybody, welcome to I think episode 8 of How to Play Like a WoT Pro. Today we're going to talk about how to play Siegfried line assault from the attacking side. And then also in addition, in this video I'll talk a little bit about why you should have assault on in random battles, in my opinion, if you're going for damage per game. As you can see, my loadout is V-stab, vents, optics with vents directive. I do vents directive over optics directive because vents directive gives you half the view range that the optics directive gives you, except it also increases all of your other characteristics, so I just prefer it over the optics directive. I also have a loadout with CVS over V-stab, but I only run that on basically Malinovka and Prokhorovka. So on this map from the attacking side, I like to start out by going to this position here. Just ignore that flip, you didn't see anything. There's a bunker right up here where if I'm in a fast tank, and even in some slower tanks like a T110A5 or a Kron, I'll start out at this position because I think it's the best initial position, especially if you spawn from the north. I spawned south in this replay, but since I'm in an EBR 75, I'm still fast enough to get up here. Fortunately no vodka today because I'm all out, but I still have beer, so. Basically the way this position works is you knock over the tree very carefully, like so, in this orientation. And this tree actually is very well, gives you a lot of camo value. You could stay unlit here and even something like 1-1B, unless tanks get really close to you. One thing you need to watch out for when you're taking this initial position is this corner here and this corner here. If somebody pokes you from there, then you can get lit. So just keep that in mind. Fortunately, the replay is kind of bugged, doesn't show my reload, but I assume I'm reloading right now. And what you can actually do in this position, which a lot of people don't know about, is you can over peek all the way out here, and you won't get spotted from tanks over here, and you can get a free shot into them. And then if you're facing backwards like I am here, you can shoot them once and then reverse into cover before getting shot by these guys here if you're quick enough about it. Now I see that this tree here is knocked over, so I know they have a tank there. So I'm just keeping that in mind right now. I definitely have heat loaded right now as well. And somehow I don't even get lit there. I have no idea how, but it's just one of the mysteries of World of Tanks. Get a nice shot into the 228 Proto. Right now I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for enemies to make mistakes. This game is kind of stalemated. We're down HP, so we are kind of losing, but if you look at the map, we haven't really lost map control yet. Our map control is fine. I pulled forward too early there, so I messed up my shot. So we're kind of stalemated, even though we're down HP. I see this guy's not looking, so I go for a quick shot. You need to be careful of snipers sitting back here, but I thought it would be worth it it would be worth the risk to poke to get 350 damage into him. Now I want you to pay attention to what I do here. So I went over here to this position here. I shot this guy in the side, and then I immediately ran away. But I realized after the fact that I can actually just bait him super hard because he saw me run away. He thinks I'm over here. So if you pay attention to where he's pointing, he thinks he's expecting me from over here. So when I pop up right now, he doesn't expect me. Here I'm trying to stay underneath his gun so he can't get a shot onto me. Unfortunately, he does. But I had a nice shot on his cupola, and he dies. Now I'm just gonna keep playing around this area for a little bit, because it's very hard to advance any of these flanks. This is, don't get me wrong, this is the losing spawn of Siegfried line assault. You're gonna lose most of the time when you spawn on this side, but it's still okay for damage. I actually like it for damage, especially in faster tanks. But what you don't want to do on Siegfried line assault attack is push in. If you're in like a heavy tank, then you can play in this area here and shoot down these lanes, like shoot this lane, or from this corner here you can shoot this lane. But in faster vehicles, your only two real options are playing here in this kind of area in general. You can sometimes poke from here, or you can play around where the CS53 is playing in the south of the map. I would show you more replays on this map than just one replay, but unfortunately the new patch has made it so that I can't watch any of my old replays. So all of these replays that I had to choose from are just from the last few days after the patch, unfortunately. So I'm pretty limited to what I can show you for my own replays anyway. So I saw that this T-34-3 crossed to this bunker here, and whenever somebody does that, this position becomes completely useless. You just can't play there, because this guy can side scrape or poke whenever he feels like it, and if you're in the open, then he just gets a free shot onto you. So I'm forced to go to the south side of the map, and I'm playing the area that I just said is okay to play, where the CS53 was previously. This general area is okay to play, but you can't really do much. You have to kind of rely on the enemies making mistakes, and so that's what I was really doing there, is capitalizing on an enemy mistake. I wasn't really making a play or something. But now that the enemies have kind of fallen back on this flank, I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive and use some of the bushes here to get some free damage. Again, I'm paying attention to what's happening overall in the battle. I see that we're kind of losing the field, but we have a serve back here, so we shouldn't lose it fully. Even though we don't have much presence over there, it should be fine for a little while still. But I do see that we're down HP, and so this battle is still very, very close. And so I'm still playing pretty passive. I'm not forced to push in or anything. Here I see this IS-3 and this Progetto. I think I might be able to get some free damage into them, so that's what I'm trying to look for here. If you'll notice, they actually changed this area a little bit with the patch. I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see. They added a couple rubble piles here to play against this corner. This doesn't change much for the assault mode at all, but it does change things a little bit in the standard battle mode. They also widened this area out, which I really like. So it's just more accessible and more obvious that you can play there. And then in this area, they made this wall. They basically just took away parts of this wall so you can drive in from more angles. You don't have to go all the way around. Again, this doesn't really change much from the assault side, but from standard battle mode, it changes things a little bit. I like the changes overall, but it definitely doesn't fix the map or anything. Just is kind of convenience changes, I guess. Try to pin his front there. I don't actually think I can pin his front. I think that was just a bad shot. Really wish I could see my reload right now in my shell selection, but I can't. Here, you might have noticed what I was trying to do here, or maybe you didn't realize I was doing this intentionally. I purposefully pushed out a little bit here to bait him into coming around this corner. And this is something you can do in general, is just moving a little bit to one side or the other to kind of lead the enemy tanks like sheep. So that's what I do here, and I get a free shot in because of that. Then I immediately reload. Here, you might have noticed, I don't know if I did this intentionally or not, but I didn't just sit here after I killed the T-28 because I knew I'm gonna go unlit. So I wanted to make it look like I was going away so that the IS-3 might push in. I think he was gonna push in regardless, to be honest. I don't think what I did changed anything, but it was a good idea if that's what I was trying to do. I'm not actually sure if I did that intentionally or not, but I can tell you I definitely wasn't going to go field. I had no intention of doing that because I just don't think that's a smart play in this situation. It's hard to pen a T-34 threes, and I was running out of heat shells at this point as well, which made things pretty difficult. Now we are kind of limited on time here, so even though the game is really even, I want to kind of push the tempo. And so I'm thinking of just swinging around on this RHM. But unfortunately, for some reason, I have no idea why, he decided to shoot me. No idea why. I just figured he would fire at the Barask, but he didn't. And then, basically a disaster happens. 2 tanks get lit here, which is terrible for me. I thought that this guy would be relatively alone and maybe he would have some backup like around here or in here, or even like in this area. But this is like the worst case scenario for me. So I have to try to get safe here. I'm trying not to block this Barask, but honestly, there's only enough space here to like save one of us, unless he were to go sideways in here maybe. And then just maybe. So I take my safe position, and then unfortunately he dies. I don't think I what screwed him over really there. I just think it was a fact that there wasn't enough space for both of us and I got there first. I'm looking for an opportunity to escape here. That's like my #1 priority. I'm thinking about what to do because there's 2 guns aimed at me. So if I can't just make a run forward this way, or this way. So my only option right now that I see is to try to run around like this. But their Progetto is kind of also posing a problem. So you'll see what I do here in a second to get out of this situation. I wait for the T-28 to fire, and as soon as he does, I just whip it around the corner here. I kind of took this kind of pathing like this, and then like this, like an L shape. And the reason why I did that is just to keep me out of their line of fire, in line of vision as long as possible. And to keep myself in their line of fire the shortest amount of time possible, I guess. So now I escaped for the first part of the way, but I haven't gotten out all the way yet. I'm trying to see if I can just sneak through here, and I think I can, so I go for it. I know this Progetto's one-shot, so I risk it. And I take him out. Now I'm in a very precarious spot because I'm basically completely surrounded by tanks, but these tanks are slow, so I think I can escape from them. And I'm just gonna go for Artie right now. I don't think I was lit there, so I think that's why I'm just sitting on the ridge. Turns out I actually was lit, because the 122 TM shoots me. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was lit the whole time, or something. Here I just did a little run to look for the T-34-3, but I don't see him coming, so turn around to deal with the T-28, who I see is turning. Now I see there's only 40 seconds left, so I'm pretty sure this is unwinnable, basically. So I'm just gonna try to get out as much damage as I can before I die. If I die, that is. Here I'm unspotted, so I go back into the bush, trying to get in a shot or two before this guy comes. I'm out of heat shells, so I just try my best to get 2 pens, but I can only get 1. Here, one thing you want to do when you're in a situation like this, where it's a tank with very bad gun depression, you want to pass them as soon as their gun depression is, as soon as they're on like the peak of a slope. Like, I don't know exactly how to describe this, but this would be the area where I would try to, this would be the elevation where I would try to pass him on a slope. Because if I try to pass him when he's already down here, he's going to have the gun depression to shoot me no matter which direction I go around him. But up here, if he's like at the very top of a slope, then there's a chance he won't have the gun depression to shoot me as I go around him. It'll be like a split second where he has enough gun depression to shoot me. So that's why I made the choice to push him right then. And I don't actually die, but I do miss my last shot on the T-43, T-34-3 because I'm bad, but what can you do? So I think this replay I had like 5,600 damage because I had a couple blinds, but I would have included more replays maybe on the other side, like showing you how to play on defense, but I honestly I don't have replays right now, so I'm trying my best to get more replays by streaming more, but it's gonna take a while, to be honest, unless I can figure out how to get an old version to work. So I think that's basically all I have to teach you today. Hopefully you learned something. Would highly recommend the EBR 75 if you ever get a chance to purchase it. I think that's basically it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Maybe in the next couple days, we'll see.